Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's talk about anxiety. In particular, how you can manage anxiety when you work for yourself. So it seems like the level of anxiety in individuals has been increasing over the years, that more and more people seem to be plagued with anxiety. I left my last role as a global VP at a large corporation because I had a level of anxiety that started to affect my health. There were contributors to that. I had family issues with my parents. I had long hours. I had an incredibly long commute. There were global pressures to the job. And over time, I started to develop sleeplessness and anxiety and panic attacks. And I made the choice to leave that full-time job. I took some time off in order to rebuild my health, and then I started my own agency. Now, I thought having my own agency might be a lower level of pressure, but in a lot of cases, having your own business is just as much pressure as it is working for other people. You can have anxiety in almost any work situation, but there are particular types of anxiety and particular solutions that you can manifest when you have anxiety and you're in a situation where you're working for yourself. So I wanted to share some of the techniques that I've been using in order to kind of mitigate and control anxiety when you work for yourself. So one important skill that can help you manage anxiety is to learn to scope work correctly. So you want to be able to set goals for a project and make sure that they're realistic. You want to be honest with your clients about how long things are actually going to take. And they'll pressure you. They'll want things sooner, but you have to be strong. You have to make sure that you're scoping things accurately. You want to overestimate to a certain amount the amount of time you think things are going to take, because they always take longer than you think. Extreme stress can also cause you to be less productive. So if you are feeling anxious, you want to make sure that you're building in some buffer time to manage that and get the work done that you need to get done in a timely way. But build yourself a little bit of a buffer around the time that you're estimating for a project to take. Another technique to use, which can be really helpful in managing anxiety, is fixed work hours. When you work for yourself, it's very easy to burn the candle at both ends and to work very irregular hours and fit it in wherever you can, or working all the time and fitting your life in wherever you can be very anxiety producing. So setting fixed work hours where you're at work at 9, you're out at 6, you're in at 7, you're out at 4, whatever that is, and being specific and controlled about it can add a level of consistency to your life and to your work, and can help you be more productive. Because when you're anxious, your tendency is to want to work all the time, or your tendency will be never to work, which isn't good for your business anyway. You just want to make sure that you're not going to be burning yourself out. You're setting fixed hours so you can focus on work, and when you're done, you're done. So you can separate that work and life and create different headspaces for those two things, because that will help mitigate anxiety in your head. Another very helpful technique is to separate your workspaces and your life spaces. You may have to do this within your home or within your apartment, but carving out a space that is just for work and the rest of the space is just for living can be really helpful in focusing when you're at work and then not thinking about work when you're not working. So separating those spaces between your work life and your life can really help with anxiety. When I started off my business, I worked for over a year in my home office until I started to get a little rammy and I wanted to find a space outside of my home. Now that I've been working outside of my home in an office that's close to my home, I am in a mindset of work when I'm in that space. And I'm not in a mindset of work when I'm at home. So I've been able to separate those two psychological realms between work and life. And it's created a lot less anxiety in my life because I can focus on work when I'm in my workspace and I can focus on having my life when I'm in my life space. If you can carve that out as much as possible, even if it's in your apartment, even if it's in a section of your home or a room of your home or a corner of a room, to separate out those ideas of work and life can really help with anxiety. Another skill that you want to learn how to develop is to learn to say no. You may have to learn to say no to yourself, because sometimes we distract ourselves with shiny object syndrome that will keep us unfocused in what we're doing. You may learn to say no or have to learn to say no to your clients if they're wanting to pressure you to beyond, what you're able to deliver for them, or whether that's a timeline or a number of deliverables in a project. Or saying no to leeches, people who want something for nothing. It may be even saying no to family members if they're setting expectations or expectations of you or guilting you into things that you really can't deliver or want to deliver. You have to learn to say no. That can reduce your level of anxiety. Another technique you can use is to find escape valves. And what I mean by escape valves is things like, going out for a walk or going to the gym for 45 minutes or even calling up a colleague on the phone and just bitching about your day. Having some sort of escape valve to kind of get you out of the repetitive cycle of worry that can come from pressures of working by yourself and having your own business. I use meditations. I have a lounge chair in my office that sometimes when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, I will sit down with a meditation app and I'll do a quick meditation for 10 or 15 minutes. It can calm me and center me, and it's a really great skill having that escape valve to develop to kind of keep anxiety at bay. A really simple one is just to get out of the office, whether that's an office in your apartment or your house or an office that you rent. Get out and walk around the block. Just get a little fresh air. It can have a radical effect on your level of anxiety. When I'm stressing out about something, I will literally walk out of my office and walk around one single city block. And by the time I get back, it changes my headspace dramatically. Get out of the office. Now, working for yourself sounds relaxing, but I tell you, it can bring just as much anxiety as working at a company or at an agency. Use some of these tips that I've mentioned in this video to combat it, and I guarantee it will help bring down that level of anxiety that you have that comes from working for yourself. Now remember, if you're still struggling and you're having a hard time with anxiety and depression and these techniques and other techniques you're trying aren't working, there's absolutely no shame in seeking professional help. A lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of creative professionals suffer from anxiety and depression. And it can really help you to get a different perspective and to learn new techniques in managing it so you can be happy and you can be successful. So I hope you liked this video on managing anxiety when you work for yourself. And if you did, please hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. And visit me at philipvandusen.com. I'd love to help you with your brand strategy, your brand design, or your professional creative career. And with that, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.